Hello, and thank you for joining me on my reselling channel, Flippin' Hippos. I'm Star. Today is Wednesday, which is typically a day where I do videos on motivation, goals, organization, all of the things that I love to talk about. So today we're going to address kind of an elephant in the room, and it's been in the room as long as I can remember. I started selling in 2017 and noticed this. I've talked about it before, and I encourage folks to really listen to this. But it's been 9 years now, and I still see people doing this. Stop comparing yourself to other resellers. That there can be no good that can come from that. You are either going to make yourself feel like you are not successful because you're comparing yourself to others who have a completely different situation than you do. Doesn't mean they're more successful. It means their situation is different. Or it leads to pride, which is no good either. What if you suddenly decide, everyone I'm comparing myself to, I'm doing so much better than, and I'm better than? That's not a good attitude to have either. Comparing yourself to others, there's never a good outcome. Both ways are gross. So don't compare yourself to other people. I always say only compare yourself to yourself. And your only competition should be yourself as well. You should always be in competition with the you of yesterday, last week, last month, last year. You should always be striving to do better than you did before and competing with your own self and your own past goals and accomplishments and raising that bar. But what you should never do is worry about what other people are doing, because that will just lead to most often feeling despair, discouraged, unaccomplished, like you're not successful. It's not a good feeling, and you shouldn't put yourself in a situation where you should feel like that. But if you compare yourself to yourself and you say, man, I've come a long way. Man, I've really improved. My sales have improved. My ability to source better items has improved. That leads to feeling good about yourself, feeling successful, and feeling like you've accomplished something. If you compare yourself to yourself and you come out feeling the opposite of that, you're doing something wrong. You need to reevaluate your goals, your routines, and how you approach your workflow. But that's a different video. So don't worry about what other people are doing. You are not running their race. You are running your own race. This is your journey. This is what it looks like for you. And what it looks like for you is different from every other reseller. That's not to say you can't watch YouTube videos, go to reseller events, make reseller friends, and all talk and learn from each other. Absolutely. You can always learn from other resellers. I have never been in a room of resellers or in a video of resellers and not had a conversation where I didn't learn something or find a new way of looking at something that inevitably makes my processes and me quicker, faster, more efficient, more productive. Even if you've been selling for 20 years, you will always learn something when you are around other resellers. I am not saying not to learn from other people. We can always all learn from each other. But don't take it to heart if someone is doing quote unquote better than you, because an empty nester who is single may have more time to focus on the business than someone who with 3 kids and a full-time job and this is their hobby. Do you see what I am saying? What it looks like for you is different from everyone else, and you cannot compare yourself. So you have to find that line between learning and commiserating with other resellers, but stop before you start comparing yourself. It's really easy to look over here and over there and over there and see what everybody else is doing. Just stay like this. Imagine the horses that they put the blinders on that just need to focus forward. It's not bad to watch somebody else's haul or their sales numbers or their what solds or even their fancy little setup for their shipping station or their storage. It's not bad to look at that and say, that's where I want to be. Let me emulate certain things that they do that will help me be more successful. That's all great, but don't feel like you're falling short if you're different. That's where the comparison will get you in trouble. You can be different. That doesn't mean you're not succeeding. And also remember, a lot of what you see on social media is highlight reels. So you want to make sure you're looking at the reality of what reselling looks like behind the scenes. Every minute you spend worrying about what somebody else is sourcing, listing, or selling is a minute that you're not investing in your own business. Your inventory, your workflow, your learning, your growth is all based on what your life looks like, how much time you have to dedicate to this business, and that's going to be different for everybody. Family, disabilities, work responsibilities. There's lots of things that come into play with what your life is going to look like when you start reselling. Someone else selling better than you doesn't mean they're actually doing better than you. Have they been selling for 20 years and this is their full-time job and you started last week and this is your hobby? Right? So this is where the problem comes in with comparing yourself to people. You don't know their whole story. You only know your whole story and what you can do. So just worry about competing with yourself, like I said. Reselling is not a pie with like limited slices. There's not only so many slices available to hand out to successful resellers. There's limitless pies and limitless slices. There's enough for everybody. There are millions of ways to source. Maybe that's a little bit hyperbolic, but there's thrift stores, estate sales, online, auctions, buying out other people. There's consignment, there's clearance racks, there's retail arbitrage. There is hundreds of categories to sell in. There's things that you are knowledgeable on, your niche, your ability to sell certain categories that others aren't knowledgeable in as you are. There's the ability to be consistent and build your own routines and be successful and productive in what your life allows you to do. So there's plenty of pies, plenty of slices. Everybody has the ability to be successful. It's not you worrying about what I'm doing. It's you worried about what you're doing and doing all of the things that I'm always telling you guys to do. Have good routines, be consistent, time block, batch work, be focused, be a boss to yourself, and you will be successful. When you worry about yourself and all the processes and all the things that you're doing every day, and you're constantly competing with yourself to be better, you will become successful. Not when you're looking the other way to see what is Star doing this week. Don't worry about me. I'm here to help you, yes, become organized, get better routines. I'm here to help you learn and from my mistakes as well as learn from my expertise, but I'm not here to tell you how to run your business. Everyone is different. And remember, progress isn't always flashy. Remember a couple weeks ago when I did the video about having really good routines in place, but having that bare minimum routine for days when life happens out of our control. So there will be days when your progress does look very flashy. Woo, I listed 50 items today. And then tomorrow you have a migraine and your dog is sick and you do 3. Listen, those 3 that you do on a day like that are more important and more flashy than the 50 you did on the day everything was hunky-dory and perfect. Reselling is hard, but there are going to be days that are even harder, and those are the days when you show up, you really got to pat yourself on the back. Stay in your own lane, but own that lane. Build the systems that work for you and your life. Don't build the systems that I built that work for me, because what works for me is not going to work for you. You can take advice from me on how to do batch work, time blocking, how to do time management and routines, and then apply that to your life. You know, I work basically 7:30 to 5:15. But if you've got kids that you got to put on the bus each morning, that's not going to work for you. You may have to work a block here when the kids are in school and then a block in the evening after they're in bed. So all the advice I give you about how to work, how to do the processes, how to do the routines is all viable and valuable, but how you apply it to your life and your schedule is going to be different. So build the routines and the systems that'll lead to success for you. Don't worry about what other people are doing. I keep saying that, but it's so important because, like I said at the beginning of this video, it's been 9 years and I still see people doing this. They still keep comparing themselves to other resellers. And that's not a good thing to do. It's not a good thing to do in life. Even let's say you're on a weight loss journey. Maybe Sally loses weight faster than you and it's discouraging. But are you eating healthy and doing the exercise and putting in the work and losing weight on your own? Maybe your metabolism is different. Maybe your body is different. And by comparing yourself to Sally, you're just going to get discouraged and feel sad and bad about yourself. But if you only focus on yourself, am I eating what I'm supposed to? Am I exercising? Am I hitting my goals? Then you feel successful in your weight loss journey. So this applies to everything in life. Put those blinders on, stay in your own lane, and only focus on what you're doing. And a lot of times also what can happen when you start to feel really good about yourself and successful, this is for reselling, but it applies to everything. Then you look at someone else over here who might be doing something just a little bit, quote unquote, better. You get imposter syndrome, and that's a bad place to be also. If you feel good about yourself, if you feel like you've been doing all the things and you're seeing success and you're seeing growth, then chances are you are seeing success and you are seeing growth. Don't worry about what John and Martha are doing. I'm running out of fake names to come up with. But yeah, price your items, build your business, do all the things that are the best business practices, build the routines that fit with your lifestyle, stay consistent, and grow at a pace that doesn't burn you out. That's super important too. You know, don't look at myself or some of the guests I've had on my live shows and say, woo, she's got 5,000, she's got 10,000, she's got 20,000 active listings, and you just started last week. You will burn yourself out if you try to get there too quickly. Be realistic with yourself and grow at a pace that will not burn you out. I want to tell you something very important. Sustainable growth beats impressive growth every single time. Sustainable growth that you can do day in and day out that will grow over time consistently is much more impressive than 1 week of pushing out 1,000 listings and then only 2 a day after that. If you keep showing up, you keep learning, you keep your eyes on your own routines, your own products, your own business, that momentum, that success will come for you. And when it does, you're not going to need validation from anyone else because you already know you earned it. So stop looking at everybody else and start looking at yourself. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe because it helps me feed my hungry hippos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.